cost of living crisis, Aussies have officially decided who's to blame. And it's bad news for Coles and Woolies. The duopoly is now officially public enemy number one.
I think it's un-Australian what they're doing, and they should be ashamed of themselves, and it's about time that they're being called out.
A new survey finding more than 80% of us blame the major supermarkets for the rising cost of living.
For people to consider, like, can I afford my rent or can I afford my groceries for the week is, really difficult.
Aussie anger at supermarkets now outranking their rage at the banks, government and even energy companies over the cost of living.
They got a monopoly in the markets. Everyone goes to either one of those, so they have no choice.
The latest findings come as support grows for action against the supermarket duopoly, with a whopping 85% of Aussies backing the ACCC's pursuit of major supermarkets over allegations they misled consumers on pricing. Findings showing half of us now back a proposed coalition crackdown, which could see supermarkets forced to sell stores if they're found to be abusing their market power.
Divestiture powers are powers that give the government the ability to split up companies that are effectively operating as monopolies.
In the US, authorities have used divestiture powers against megacorporations Microsoft, Meta and AT&T, with mixed results.
We need more power of the government to threaten, say, start acting in the interests of your customers rather than just the interests of your profits. That is the type of thing that makes CEOs start thinking twice about their actions.
Though there are warnings a cut-price sale of supermarket stores might not be the super idea we think it is.
Splitting them up or even forcing them to sell a certain number of shops requires someone who would take over. It requires a buyer, and it might be the case that there really is no buyer for the shops that are being forced to sell.
But as Aussies continue to struggle with the cost of living, the only thing rising as fast as prices is consumer anger.
I think it's disgusting, especially when you look at the profits of the big CEOs.
Do we think this is finally the end of the duopoly?
No, of course it's not. Let's move on. Because as we know what happens to consumers in Australia. We get gouged on everything, even our own gas that we sell to China and then have to buy back again at inflated prices. Politicians do nothing because I believe they're thinking of their life post-politics and the boards that they want to be on, and it's always those big companies. So the duopoly will be fine.
Except you have this, I've never seen this before, a situation in Australia where you have the Liberal Party or the Coalition and the Greens both proposing legislation, which I've never seen.
But you know why, Waleed? Because they're not in power.
Well, the Coalition could be. Like, in a year's time, they might be the government, right? But the interesting thing about that power to break up supermarkets is they don't necessarily have to use it. If it's on the books that they can,
right,
then
that's
that
enough
might
to call them
change
to
the way.
heel.
Yeah. Now the question would then be on what basis can they, what exactly will the incentive be to stop them?
But also, if they say broke up, if they said to Woolworths, you can't have so many stores, who would buy the stores?
Yeah,
that's Greg Jericho's point. But I don't know, maybe an international thing, like maybe one of the French supermarkets or the British ones, or who knows? Or maybe none. I guess we don't know. Anyway, there is a full statement from Woolworths on our website if you'd like to see it.